Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Maps come with me. No. When do we start?
Welcome back to the show.
Woo!
Maybe things are working, maybe they're not. Technical difficulties, baby.
Is this on?
Yeah,
we're good now?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're recording. We are actively recording, and it seems to be picking us up, even though we're peaking a little bit. Let's back it
Okay,
up,
I'm sorry
all right?
about that. Well,
A little bit of me, a little bit of you.
we peaked a long time ago.
I did it at 22.
Wow. You have nothing to look forward to in life now, don't you?
Uh-oh, I don't know about you. I'm feeling 29.
I felt 29 like 4 years ago.
All right.
So been there, done that. Yeah, here we are. Here we be. I was just thinking,
Hopefully.
Yes.
Sorry, we're doing... It's a different computer. Same mic, different computer. Hopefully it's all working. I don't really know.
it's been a while since I've had to sit here for 10 or 15 minutes where you angrily click and yell at the computer like an old man. Remember the time that every time you started to click on it, it would make that ding noise for about 20 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
That was a bad night.
Well, we saw Logan earlier this year. I have never connected with the movie more than when he starts hitting his truck with a shovel, just yelling at an inanimate object. I'm like, oh, that's real.
I've been there.
That emotion is real.
I've been to that anger.
You hit that thing. Quickie review from me.
What?
I'm part way through the Punisher. We're not doing a Punisher episode.
Yeah, good, because I really don't have time to watch the Punisher.
It's actually too bad, because I think of all the Marvel Netflix shows, this one would be the one that's the most up your alley.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of violence?
You would totally dig it.
I would.
Actually, less than I thought. They're more about the splatter than they are about, like, the drawn-out gore. Like, you'll get a shot to that, it's just like splatter against a wall, but they had plenty of opportunity to be like, let's hang on this, like, let it kind of, like, seep out, and, you know, like, blah. But it's mostly been quick shot, splatter. It's actually, it's a violent show, but it's not anywhere near what the trailer was telling you. It's not like,
Ooh, that's your really bad. Look at that.
That's my Metallica.
Yeah, your bad Metallica.
No, it's really good. Like, I'm surprised. I wasn't really that excited about it. It's really good. I got 5 left, I think, and so I'm in a little bit of a slump right now, I think, but there seems to be that in every Netflix show. You kind of get that, you know,
Mid-season doldrum.
maybe we shouldn't be 13 episodes slump.
Oh, much like,
All of them.
is it better than Iron Fist?
A million times better. I'm going to put this...
How does it compare to the Defenders?
Better.
Really?
Easily better.
Is it
Better than
just-
Iron Fist, better than Luke Cage, better than the Defenders.
Better than Jessica Jones?
Probably not, but arguable.
It's up there. What about, with Flash?
Flash is a different beast. Those are two different beasts. Non-comparable beasts.
Okay.
That is a preference thing.
What
Also
else?
depends on the season of Flash.
Better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Oh, yeah. That's... yes.
Better than Terminator Genesis?
Everything is better than Terminator Genesis.
A kick to the nuts?
Also, I'm back, baby, as a writer, at least temporarily.
Oh, really?
I was successly bribed into getting back into it. I'm working on one now, and I'll do one next month. And
For
then
what
I'm done.
culture? For
then
what
I'm
culture?
done.
For
Yeah.
what culture?
I have at least one going on right now. Maybe I'm gonna shoot for another one after that. Then I'm done. Let's start positive. Then we're gonna get weird. Or, I don't even know if it's positive. Let's just do the news. There's some weirdness in there this week.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
Do you want to start off with the biggie?
I like a biggie.
Wait, okay, I'll give you a choice. Comics, movies, the big one, or the really weird one.
Let's go comics for 100, please.
All right, comics it is. Infinity Saga is coming. There was a teaser image released that shows... Spoilers if you didn't read Marvel Legacy, that was a few weeks ago, so if you haven't, come on, you're behind. It's been multiple weeks. Wolverine is back.
Baby. Hugh Jackman?
Whoa. Old Man Logan, he's still kicking about. X-23 Wolverine's dog.
X-23 is your dog?
Your shaking is picking up. But regular old wife beater wearing, cowboy hat wearing Wolverine, he's back.
He wore a cowboy hat?
All the time. He loves his cowboy hats. He loves his leather jackets, and he loves his cowboy hats.
Far be it from me to judge Logan on what he wears.
But there's Infinity Saga coming up. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the movie. He has the Space Gem. Star-Lord has the Power Gem. Captain Marvel has the Reality Gem. And we'll see what's a-coming there.
Lots of stuff.
It's definitely because there's an Infinity War movie coming out.
Yes.
Speaking
wait a
of
minute.
that,
Wolverine.
he's back from the dead.
Okay.
And it's confusing why he has a cosmic-related gem. We don't know. No explanation so far. Read Infinity Saga to find out.
I guess you could bring Wolverine back to life.
He's already back. He came back for like 2 pages.
Oh, that was quick.
Yeah, well, he hasn't been seen since. He's gonna pop up, at least in Infinity Saga.
As Wolverine zombies have want to do.
And I think he's just regular old cowboy hat wearing Wolverine.
Does he smell good?
Oh my god. No, that's in my notes. Don't you worry. I took serious notes on this because I want to make sure I hit as much as I can. It's like my good things segment.
There's not a lot.
There are 3 bullet points.
Only 3?
That's all I came up with.
Wow. I like your notes. Smell itchy lanterns. It looks like one of those...
Those are separate notes.
It looks like one of those, like, refrigerator poetry magnets.
I wrote a haiku. Also in the comics, we've talked about it before. It's upcoming. It's an event, but it's not an event. Marvel can't seem to decide what an event means. I think they just mean it's a self-contained event within a certain book.
You keep using that word, but I don't think you have any idea what it really means.
That was a butchered quote.
No, it's close enough.
Avengers No Surrender is going to be... The Avengers will be going up against Thanos' Black Order, which you will also see in Infinity War, which I'm sure has nothing to do with the movie coming out.
No, nothing at all.
It does. That's why it's there.
That was sarcasm.
But I mean, if you want to kind of learn about those characters before the movie comes out, there you go. Read Avengers No Surrender, the not event that's an event within the Avengers title.
Okay.
Whatever, deal with it.
Nailed it.
Big comic news for the week. This came out of nowhere. Side note.
Out of left field or beyond left field? Like the parking lot
Like-
beyond left field.
No one saw this coming kind of news.
Okay.
Axel Alonso, editor-in-chief of Marvel. He's out. He's gone. Disappeared. Front of the week.
Like disappeared as in like missing persons? Or
Oh no, like he had his ass fired. They said it was mutual. Guess what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it wasn't.
Do you think he's one of those people that was a touchy-feely guy?
No, I mean, they're like, we wish him the best, mutual agreement that he will be stepping down and leaving the company in full. Their last editor-in-chief, I think, was probably a little bit closer to that. Like, he did legitimately step down. Still not, like, top position as, like, chief creative officer or something. Joe Quesada. He's still part of the company. Axel Alonso, best porn name ever, is out.
Really?
100% out as of Monday.
That's a rough time of the year to have that happen.
Yeah. And editor, a guy whose name I've seen, but I'm not super aware of his work. CB... Oh, God, how do you pronounce that name? Cebulski.
Yeah, we'll go with that because I can't really read your cuneiform.
You know what? I do it so only I can read the news.
Since I ever got onto your wise ways.
CB Cebulski is taking over as editor-in-chief. He's currently in Shanghai working for Marvel, and he's working his way back to LA.
Did he Shanghai the job?
Now, everyone was speaking very highly of him this week, but I mean, what are you going to do? He's your boss now.
Yeah, new boss. He sucks.
Everyone said like very, considerate guy, been, formative to helping move stories forward and approachable individual. I know very little about him. I can't really speak to the choice, but it was really surprising that Axel Alonso got canned, especially like in the midst of doing this like Marvel kind of relaunch of Marvel Legacy. There's been no explanation given, by the way.
He did something. He did a no-no.
I don't think, it's not like that kind of no-no that we've been seeing recently. I just think that Marvel sales have been kind of in a downward spiral, and the company just said, we need someone else. There are things that he implemented that I didn't necessarily agree with, but there were things that he did that I also agreed with. Like, people have been kind of like labeling like social justice warrior Marvel, of like replacing the old characters with like new, younger versions that are some kind of minority or female or that kind of crap. But he's also gone back and reintroduced the old characters. He was a guy who wasn't afraid to be like, we tried a thing and it didn't work, which is also something people didn't like. Like, there seemed to be like this kind of 2-year rotation with him. Like, we're going to try a thing for 2 years. Okay, it's not working. We're going to try a different thing for the next 2 years. Okay, it's not working kind of deal. So I can at least give him credit that he was willing to admit errors and was willing to try and course correct, unlike some other major property that may or may not be happening later in the show. Justice League.
Wow.
Specific.
It's awfully testy. We're getting to like vintage first dozen episodes Angry Zach.
This broke me in a way that I haven't been broken in a while.
You weren't this broken when we left the theater.
I know. I had 2 days to think about it.
You had a good 20-minute bitch session in the car ride back.
Oh, I've had 2 days to stew.
You've just been fuming.
Yeah,
it hasn't even been a full 48 hours.
Oh, boy. But yeah, I mean, he did things that he liked. He did things that I didn't like, but he was at least a guy who was willing to try and do different things, which I appreciated. I mean, obviously, I want there to be good stories. Marvel's been doing very well recently. There's been a bunch of books that I've been loving. But it's also, for the not exclusively, I did like the recent Secret Empire thing with Captain America, but for the most part, it's been, an individual title has been doing really well, that I think there's been a good fostering of let the creatives do what they want to do. They have a bunch of good stuff out right now, which I've been enjoying, and I hope that trend can continue. I also hope that they can, if they need to go back to the idea of events, which they said they were taking a year and a half off of, who knows what's going to happen now. Also, things need time to come out. Like comics, people always treat it like it's a month-to-month reaction. It's not.
No.
There is a few, there's a few months in between.
A ripple effect.
Yeah.
It's got to have time to happen.
So, we'll see. Axel Alonso is done. No word as to why. CB Cebulski is in. I hope we don't have to say that name a lot.
Go get him, CB.
Let's just stick with CB. I don't know what CB even stands for.
Cool bro.
Could be.
Comics boy.
Comics boy, yes. CB Comics boy. Himself.
Yes. Comics Baron. There we go.
Unrelated to comics, but we've talked about it a few times. Mostly because it's a game from my childhood. Rampage baby! Rampage had its first trailer.
You got really loud. You're really excited right now.
Because it's Rampage.
Are you just trying to be happy now because you know you're going to be sad later?
I don't think I'm going to be... The Rock says he's going to change the video game adaptation franchise. Make it good.
Well, there's not much to adapt from this video game.
No, there's not. Literally, Rampage is... You play as a giant monster, you punch a building... You see who can punch the building the fastest, and you swat off the military.
It's a slow Tuesday.
It was a fun game.
It's fun enough that you kept walking down to the local gas station to rent it.
Yeah, that surprised you so much. I'm like, back in the day when you would have to go to the gas station to rent VHSs and Nintendo games?
We didn't have that.
You're like, no. Well, I lived in the woods, okay? We had a convenience store.
I grew up on a farm.
I grew up on a farm.
I grew up on a real farm.
What we're talking about, Rampage. I thought, you know what? It looks really dumb, but it looks fun.
George is having a bad day.
George being a giant monkey.
He wasn't as big in the beginning as he was at the end.
It looks dumb. My favorite part is Jeffrey Dean Morgan just chewing the scenery, like in the middle of the trailer on a plane, is like what we assume is government official.
That's his role. Government official.
But he's just chewing. He only has like 2 lines in the trailer, and both of them are just hardcore scenery chewing. Like,
no,
this movie looks awful. I can't wait.
Like Kate Blanchett in Thor scene chewing.
Thor, I apologize for giving you crap about your green screening. You look amazing in comparison to some other movies we've seen recently.
One in particular.
Yeah, kind of. Oh, God. But,
Rampage embrace the anger.
I'm not going to watch it in theaters, but I'm going to Redbox the hell out of that movie.
They've got your $1.
It's closer to 2 now.
Has the price of Redbox really gone up?
For Blu-ray.
Oh.
I don't know what it is if you get a regular DVD. I don't do that low-class thing.
You want that? You want all 4K?
I want that high def. Look, I can't go above 1080.
Most def?
Do I have a 4K TV? I have a 4K TV, but I don't have the ability to get up there.
Oh, well,
that's the thing.
They have things for that to help you get up to those heights.
The highest pixels?
Yes, all of the pixels.
Oh crap, there was a thing. Did you watch the Deadpool trailer?
Yes, I did.
Fantastic.
The Bob Ross, yes.
Yes, didn't have to show you a thing.
Oh,
awesome.
I love
Deadpool
the colors.
2 has a trailer. Oh boy, what a quirky, irreverent character. He's just gonna pull the rug out from under the genre, isn't he?
Oh my lord, I loved it. That was great.
I'm sure you did. You weirdly, unironically Bob Ross.
I like Bob Ross. If you're ever not feeling well and you need to get to sleep, pop Bob Ross on, man. But you know what? His son, Steve, when he paints, also mesmerizing to watch.
I don't know anything about his kid. But yeah, it's just a tease. It's fine. It looks like more Deadpool. I'm hopeful. I didn't love the first movie. I didn't hate it. It was entertaining. My favorite part was that's the most comic-accurate Colossus we've ever got in a movie. You take what you can get, man.
I loved all of it.
But yeah, it's funny and quirky.
I love the different, Betty White.
Yeah, I hope it's good.
Yes.
It's by one of the original John Wick directors, if memory serves. Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynoldsing about. Yeah, I don't know, it looks fine. I have no idea what the movie's about, but I am glad Colossus is back. I'm sure one of the few people, but whatever, that's fine. Give me comic-accurate Colossus. It happened once, and it was awesome. That was everyone else's favorite part of Deadpool, right?
Well, yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad everyone else was there with me.
We believe in you, Zach.
James Franco is back, baby! He's back to the comic book movie world.
Oh, which one is he doing?
This is a weird one. One I never would have.
Oh, is this the weird news?
Years. Oh no, this isn't the weird news.
We haven't got to the weird news yet.
Oh no, the weird news is I can't put it quite under stupid news. I was thinking, like, should we put it under there? Like, nah.
Will you announce the weird news when it happens? Okay.
It'll be the last
Thank
one
you.
we do.
Oh, excellent. Saving the weird for last.
James Franco is going to be doing an X-Men movie. A solo X-Men movie with Multiple Man. Yeah, that double take you did, that's accurate. You don't know who he is.
It sounds like he's like...
You saw him for 25 seconds in X3. Multiple Man's power, as you may have guessed, is to multiply himself. But what's interesting about it is every multiplication of him isn't just like a random avatar. It is a fully developed individual. So he could literally like clone himself and send a version of himself off for a year to like learn Kung Fu and fully, or send a version off to learn computer science for a full year, reintegrate, and then all of them know it after that.
Yeah.
So this is James Franco, so I feel like he's going to get to play like a bunch of versions of this character just being really weird. You know, it's kind of like the artist.
Oh, he's gonna like Joaquin Phoenix it.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird movie. Whatever's happening here, it's going to be weird as hell. Multiple Man recently died, like within the last year of the books, but maybe it was just one of the multiples. We don't know. That's happened like 12 times. He was originally from a Fantastic Four annual, I think it was.
He's a Skrill.
Skrill. Stop. You say Skrill so often. At this point, I think you're doing it on purpose.
Maybe I am.
Are you?
Yeah.
Scroll with a U.
I know, it's like scroll. You scroll.
Yes, like you scroll.
Yes.
You scroll the scroll.
Yes. But I say Skrill to piss you off.
Do you?
Yeah.
We're not even in Justice League yet. Do you need to?
I poking the bear, baby.
But yeah, James Franco is going to star in Multiple Man. Never would have seen that coming in a million years. So maybe that Disney buying Fox deal isn't going through. Like, no, we have Multiple Man. Weird. Okay. I'm really looking forward to him doing that Tommy Wiseau biopic. That looks good.
Yes.
Do you actually know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, cool. I know when you're lying. I know when you just agree. I would like to make a bit of a correction and also an update to a story from the last 2 weeks. Because I'm an idiot, so never listen to me. This show is 100% not double-checked or factual. Look, I try.
We effort, and that's all that matters.
I try. We've been talking about the Lord of the Rings Amazon deal, which is going through.
Yes.
But
The Lord of the Prequel.
Yeah, so the prequel to the books, going a ways back. I said previously, Warner Brothers only has the rights to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, which is true. But I didn't say, which is kind of the key part of this, is they have the film rights. TV rights are a different beast.
Yes.
And that just didn't click in my brain. J.R.R. Tolkien's son, Christopher Tolkien, 93 years old, is stepping down from head of the estate at age 93. Good, you're 93. Enjoy, 6 months. Harsh. Sorry.
That was... Ow.
But he is stepping down. The TV deal is going through, selling different rights, which is a big deal because this is the first deal for any kind of entertainment rights beyond the books since the 1960s. There has been no other deal beyond the film deal in the 60s.
The Rankin Bass stuff, right? There was Rankin Bass involved in that.
The film rights were sold, and I couldn't tell you who the company was who put that stuff together, because I do know what you're talking about. They did The Hobbit, they did Return of the King.
Yes, The Return of the King was kind of the really weird one.
I saw them I haven't seen them in so long, I really don't have...
The Return of the King was kind of...
My memories of them
kind of trippy.
So vague.
That's the one where the Witch King of Angmar sounds like Skeletor. No man can kill me.
It's been too long. I could not tell you.
Oh.
I saw them as a kid, like well before the movies happened. I remember I listened to them on Book on Tape. I remember that was like a big deal for a while when I was a kid, listening to Lord of the Rings on Book on Tape.
Sometimes it's easier to digest it that way.
Well, it's so, because if you just watch the movies, it doesn't play that way. I was so convinced that Gandalf was Strider, because they kept on being like, this mysterious figure, Gandalf's not there. When I was a kid, I was like, Strider is Gandalf. If you read it,
no.
Because I don't think you've read the books, have you?
I've read Fellowship, and I've read The Hobbit.
Yeah, when I was reading Fellowship, I was convinced that Strider was Gandalf in disguise. Side note, I was wrong. If you haven't picked up on that. But yeah, so the TV rights are being sold. So there has been no deal on the rights since the 1960s. So that's kind of a big deal. Like, I'm not sure where it stands now because I'm going off of like 10-year-old information. But as of like 10 years ago, the number one selling book in the US was the Bible. Number 2, Lord of the Rings. So the second biggest book deal you can get.
It's a pretty big book deal. It's
Yeah.
hard to one-up God, but he tried.
Yeah, so I mean, that's going to be... So the Amazon deal is something totally different. I'm not sure of the ins and outs of it, because I know the film deal previously from the 60s was just for The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, but this being a prequel, it might be dealing with, the most boring book of all time, the Silmarillion. Some people say it's the best. I say it's boring as hell. I've read it. That's my opinion. Anywho.
You said that last time. It's just a lot of little episodes that don't really ever tie together.
Yeah. You ready for the weird news?
Yes.
Also, this weird news, I am basically saying it's false until there's proof. So, preface it with that. It was just so hilarious that I had to bring it up. Side note, I don't believe it until there's proof. I think it's actually false. Well, I think parts of it are false.
Okay, Mulder. No, Scully. Fox Mulder, he believed in aliens.
Oh yeah, I know. I am the Scully of this story. I don't think it's true, but there's been some reports on it. It's coming from like the Daily Mail and a few other places. Like, totally
reputable.
Yes. Not reputable sources.
Hard-breaking, nose-to-the-ground journalism.
But they're from one reputable source, or not, depending on who you are. Some people disagree with that.
This still isn't the weird news, is it?
Oh no, I'm in the weird news now.
Oh, okay.
Last month, the New York Times published an article on a relatively negative and abusive sex cult in Albany.
Okay.
And there was a leader in there. And
What's his name? Gandalf?
I forget what his name was. I didn't write his name down. His name was not important to the story
Tom Bombadil.
of the comic book world. So this relatively sounds like abusive and negative sex club. Not that I have great knowledge of sex clubs. That Smallville star Allison Mack, who was in it for, I think, all 10 seasons, could not tell you, did not really enjoy that show, even though I watched like 5 seasons of it. Look, I quit on it. Stop judging me.
I'm not judging you.
But the Smallville star Allison Mack is the second in command of this Albany, New York-based sex cult, and that if you want to be a part of it, you need to get the leaders and hers initials like tattoos on your hips to prove that you're part of it. And you get put in these weird sex pods and all this other just like crazy, insane stuff. But it was just such a weird thing, and it got reported on so many sites with no concrete evidence.
How does one become second in command of that kind of establishment? What kind of promotional what's the protocol for rising through the ranking of that?
Allegedly, she was a high-level recruiter, brought in at least 25 women.
I feel like there's a lot that's not okay with this.
And there was another Smallville star who apparently brought her into this. The sex cult is real. I believe the sex cult is real. I don't necessarily.
Well, I mean, it is upstate New York. There's a lot of things that you know.
But that was just so weird. I'm like, let's talk about that.
Who's first in command? Do we have any?
I forget his name.
No.
It's a guy who's just like, you're my subordinate. Let's do it.
What? Hey, Mog, I got a promotion in my sex cult. I'm now second in command.
I am a prime recruiter.
Wow.
So that was just weird, right? That's just a weird story. Tangentially involved with the comic book world, but I'm like, that's hilarious. True or not true, hilarious.
That's...
You want to talk about life? You want to just talk
weird.
about anything else?
Beyond weird. I don't have anything to go after that.
This, a personal anecdote, something you want to put this off for a minute?
Me? I don't really have... I haven't been promoted in my sex cult. I'm sorry.
Let's review a thing.
Oh, you were trying to deflect us from talking about this.
Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret. I'm always angry.
It's time for an Editor's Note podcast review.
All right, well, I'm going to bring us into this gently, okay?
Non-spoilers first,
so
then spoilers, but you know what? I'm going to put my review up front. Don't go see this movie.
So here we are. We're going to talk Justice League. Wow. Okay, I'm going to give it... because I tend to. I'm going to lean more toward the benefit of the doubt side on this.
You jumped on it quicker than I did. When the credits hit, you're like, they weren't up for 1 second. You're like, that sucked.
You could tell it was a movie that suffered from all of the production nightmares that it had. And they did the best with what they had and they could. But this movie, to say it's flawed, understatement. Glaring plot holes. There's just a lot of... You could tell that it was a course correction movie that steered the boat into the iceberg more.
I'm going to throw a number at you.
7.
Yeah, good number. It's almost better. It's about what they did. Every single movie in the DC Extended Universe has done marginally to well over $100 million. 4 of them so far.
This was in the 50s or 60s, right?
No, not that bad.
Oh.
Domestically, this is U.S. domestic dollars. This is the Justice League. This is the culmination of DC's entire universe. 94. The worst performing opening movie is the Justice League.
Did it even win the U.S. domestic?
Probably. I didn't see that. I just looked at the...
I know that they were touting that it was it won in China.
They had to decrease it. Like, it was 96, and after the weekend, they're like, it was really 94.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine? Compare this, because it might come up once or twice. I don't even know. Compare it to the Avengers. Can you imagine the Avengers being the lowest grossing Marvel movie at the time when they did the Avengers? This is the worst one yet. People have been burned 3 out of 4 times. And they said, you know what? No, I'm not going to show up.
That's bad.
Let's talk about the mustache. We've talked about it a bunch. Superman is back. Not a shocker. Really, I'm not counting that as a spoiler. If this is your first episode, and it might be, I'm not usually this angry, but removing Henry Cavill's mustache to deal with a Paramount contract cost them $25 million. What's the first shot of the movie?
Henry Cavill's mustache.
It's been so highly publicized. Why would you open with that? I wonder if this movie is, because we've had a few of them with the DC movies so far. With the extended cut they've done on Blu-ray, they did that with Batman v Superman, they did that with Suicide Squad, so we're 50% so far. Will we get a more coherent cut later? Who the hell knows? Almost every single one of Henry Cavill's scenes was reshot. There's barely any original footage in there. In even the scenes where it's original face, there will be a few shots of mustache that then pull you out immediately. Like, there's that brief reprieve of like, oh, that's his real face. He had one scene that was nearly intact. One at the end. But even that had a few digital mustache removal shots. And you can see it so clearly. And every time it happened, it just touched my upper lip. I'm like, it's not right. It's not quite right.
Or was that because you were trying to get all the popcorn out of your beard and chest hair?
I thought I deserved a treat. I thought it deserved
for
a treat.
later. What are you storing up for winter? I know it was getting cold. Brace yourself. Winter is coming.
This movie was a chore. I mean, we'll deal with the Superman parts and spoilers. You know he's in there, but I just wanted to mention the mustache. Let's talk about the characters, because we'll deal with Superman more later. Let's start with Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
One of the better ones in the movie. But if you thought the one thing missing from the Wonder Woman movie was an immediate upskirt shot of her crotch, then boy do I have the movie for you.
Is it Justice League?
Literally the second shot of her is an upskirt shot. Wonder Woman is this amazing, empowering movie, strong character, good acting. And this movie is a series of ass and crotch shots.
Okay, let's talk about...
They screwed up Wonder Woman, even though Gal Gadot did everything I thought she could with it. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about a good one.
A good character?
Cyborg.
Yes.
Generally good. He almost had a plot. Not quite. They were definitely going for a thing that got changed in reshoots. Almost a good character.
Almost good.
Aquaman.
You like Aquaman?
Pretty good as a whole. Super broy.
Very broy.
Generally, I enjoyed him.
I thought he was one of the better parts of the movie, to be honest.
That's the good thing about this movie as a whole. This movie really stands on the laurels of strong casting. If it wasn't for the cast, this movie would be unwatchable.
Kind of like Suicide Squad?
No, that casting was 60-40 bad to good. Batman, Ben Affleck, I think I wrote a note about that, does not care. Does not care at all. He does not want to be in this movie.
No.
And also...
He even tried to kill himself in the movie. I'm going to go take on all these parademons.
He also left...
And Gal Gadot's like, no, you cannot have this by yourself.
He also left the movie to go into rehab for alcoholism, and he also clearly did not care about getting his physique back up.
He wasn't like Batman like he was back in Batman v Superman.
Yeah, he was just like, I don't care.
I have a body, it's here.
I'm just going to drink it
and
eat.
He was stacked in Batman v Superman.
He was not in this movie.
No.
Who else is there? Who we miss?
You didn't like The Flash.
Oh, The Flash. The worst part of this movie.
You're also a big Wally West fan anyway.
It has nothing to do with that. It's the dialogue. It's everything about this character.
Hold on, my blood sugar. It's getting to me.
Yeah, he has all of these, dumb lines. I know they were supposed to bring, Joss Whedon in to punch up the dialogue. But he has all these lines that are just I hate you, shut up. There's a scene when everyone's fighting. He's like, guys, my blood sugar is getting low. Is this a bad time to bring it up? Yeah, it is. Shut up. It's I don't get people and I don't like brunch. He's the Flash. What's the Flash's main thing?
He's really fast.
By doing what?
Using the Speed Force?
Well, he runs.
Yes.
He doesn't run like a human. He's just waggling his arms about.
Hey,
And
come on, give me credit for pulling Speed Force out.
every time we see, when we see, his point of view, it's all in slow motion. He trips half a dozen times in this movie. If you were in slow motion, would you trip half a dozen times?
I've been drunk and felt like things were in slow motion and tripped.
No, it doesn't make sense. This is from the trailer, so this doesn't count as a spoiler. Batman goes to him, he goes, I don't know what your powers are, even though I watched that QuickTime video on that file that I saw, and then he just hucks a batarang at him within 3 feet of his face, so Barry has to step out of his way using his speed.
Yeah.
So you don't know what his powers are, but you're just gonna chuck metal in his face? Even though you saw a video of what his powers were?
You know what? If he can't get out of the way, he doesn't make the team. It's pretty good.
The reshoot green screens. This movie looks awful. This is a bad looking movie.
You can tell that they were doing reshoots and editing 2 weeks ago.
Part of it,
3
I
weeks
think,
ago.
comes down to color correction. Every movie has a certain color palette that you're working at. Whenever you do editing, you go within a certain color scheme. If you watch the earlier trailers versus the later trailers, you see it go from black to red. And I think a lot of the bad visuals have to do with going hey, people think these movies are too dark. Let's lighten up the palette. But they weren't shooting for that palette, so it looks like crap.
Do you think they rushed to make this movie after Batman v Superman? And they should have waited.
They were shooting when Batman v Superman happened. I think there was a massive level of course correction.
This is directly residual from that movie.
This is a question, and
Okay.
I don't have an answer for it.
I might.
Can Wonder Woman fly?
She has the invisible jet.
Not in this. No, we haven't seen that yet, even though we have seen invisibility technology based on Themyscira. Can Wonder Woman fly in this universe? Is she really good at jumping or really bad at flying?
I'm going to go with really bad at flying.
We'll get into it. There's a scene with the Wonder Woman. I'm like, oh, she's flying. Then I'm like, oh no, she just jumped really awkwardly. Her first.
She's falling with style.
Ugh. Hey, you know what's nothing? The villain.
No, he was really a non-factor. He was a non-starter. There was no villain.
Originally, this movie was supposed to be 2 movies, and then they quietly made it 1 movie, and then they had a different villain, and then they made it Steppenwolf. Also missed the opportunity to make a joke about Steppenwolf the band.
Magic Carpet Ride?
Could you name me another Steppenwolf song?
Nope.
Neither could I. He's a CGI mess, and he's supposed to be a 9-foot-tall guy. I never believe it at all. And even, his lip flaps don't match up with what's actually coming out of his mouth.
No, that was very hard to watch.
Yeah, he's no good. Has no clear motivation. His whole thing was minor spoiler. He tried to take over the world 5,000 years ago, and then came back because Superman's dead. You know what? Do it some other time within that 5,000 year span.
He had plenty of time.
Even if you don't have the mother boxes, you got a big axe. Just go hit things. You'll get it done in at least 2 years. That will save you, 4,998 years?
Wasn't he trapped though? Didn't they trap him? Wasn't he
No, he gave up, and then Darkseid's you gotta go take over the world. He's like, but there's a Superman for a year. He's like, alright, wait a year, maybe he'll die and then come back for literally no reason. It's dumb and bad.
Are you saying you don't believe the plot? Do you not? Is your suspension of disbelief suspended or non-suspended?
I feel like I could talk about it in non-spoilers, but I will wait for spoilers to talk about the structure of the plot.
Okay.
Or the lack thereof. Editing. Some of the worst. You could literally see conversations that were changed in reshoots. You could see, someone would say a thing, they would cut, and you could see another character in the background, start to open their mouth, but then they would cut to, the back of someone's head with someone else speaking over it, so you wouldn't know that the conversation changed. This was ugly, stupid editing.
I'm not going to say, I'm just going to let you continue to vent. I'm here for you. This is a therapy session. I'm going to throw out some things that I liked here in a minute, but I'm also going to highlight something. I'm going to let you go continue, vent.
I really only have
process.
I have one more point for non-spoilers, and it I think is the most important point. Man of Steel, we're going back, I will say is a good movie. I don't think it's a good Superman movie. There is a big distinction in that statement.
If I had $1 for every time you said that, I could subscribe to Patreon for 5 months.
Suicide Squad is rushed. You can feel that it is rushed. No question about how rushed that movie was. Wonder Woman, for the most part, is a good movie. Act 3, like I've said, meh, gray, smoky enemy that you can't quite see. Batman v Superman is objectively a bad movie. But it is at least a movie where everyone was trying. You can feel the effort there.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about Justice League says mediocre. No effort was put into this. There's no effort in the story. There's no effort in the action. There's not, for the most part, a couple of them try at least, but the acting doesn't have an effort. There's no editing effort. Minimal effort in the score, which we know that Danny Elfman replaced Junkie XL and Hans Zimmer well into production. This movie screams mediocre. And that is the worst possible thing you can be for this genre. This movie is a cancer.
Wow.
You can be a bad movie. Batman v Superman is a bad movie. But they tried. This movie reeks of mediocrity.
Let me throw my perspective and my point of view on this. In the months leading up to this, we've talked about more problems for Justice League. Justice League has problems. Blah, 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 blah. I think the problem is DC, they bit off more than they could chew in making a universe and a culture, movie-wise, to try and catch up to where Marvel was. And we've said repeatedly, and I've said repeatedly, either be Marvel and copy them, because it's a known formula, or be what you want to be. And they started to be what they wanted to be. They got backlash from people because it wasn't a Marvel movie. And then they tried, and now they're in the middle of trying to get there, and now it's all screwed up. What I don't like is they didn't just commit to what they were going to be, and they tried really hard, and they overtried, and the movie had all kinds of production problems to begin with, and then things just got exacerbated worse and worse and worse when you have the tragedy with Zack Snyder's family, because then Joss Whedon comes in and reshoots what people think upwards of 45 to 60% of the movie.
That's also why I'm not judging it on... I am judging what is on the screen. I am not saying Whedon did this scene, Snyder did this scene.
No, I'm not saying...
With the exception of the mustache scenes, I have no clear indication of who did what.
Which is fine, but the movie had issues before it
That's
ever
when I
got...
said mustache, I waved in front of my mustache.
It kind of, almost looked like the CGI removal right there when you were moving your finger.
You can't see it. You can't see it.
They would have been better off
There's
to just
too
have
much flesh in front of there.
Just have Henry Cavill hold his finger over his upper lip and be like, "Hello, I'm Superman again." This movie suffered from things that were controllable, but they never got control of.
You know what this movie is? This movie is a rebound. You go into it. You think it's going to be fun. You think it's going to be exciting. But it is equally flawed and nowhere near as good as you think it's going to be.
And afterwards, you're like, and then
should have done that.
Then 2 days later, you're mad at yourself and the world. This is exactly where you are right now.
Don't go to the theaters. I implore you. This is bad. This is a bad movie. I saw a lot of reviews going into it. They're like, it's fine. It has flaws. No.
So what would you do to fix it?
Oh, that's actually our letter, so we'll get there. Kind of. It's not quite our letter.
Okay.
So review of this movie. I just jumped to the bad ones. See it in theaters. Redbox it. Or don't waste your time. Do not watch this movie.
Really? Here's my response. See it in theaters. And by see it in theaters, I mean go see Thor again.
Yeah, I know.
I would say Redbox it, though.
I miss Thor. I miss Thor so much. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Let's do spoilers.
Look out! There's spoilers ahead!
Spoilers! Hey, you know what's the most important part of any kind of story? Plot. That does help.
Characters.
And what does the plot have?
Purpose.
Well, I was going to say structure.
Yes,
Let's say generally a movie has a what?
Structure. It has a rising action, a climax, and a falling action.
A 3-act structure.
That's what it is. The rising action is Act 1. The climax is kind of Act 2. And then Act 3 is the resolution.
You know what this movie didn't have? This didn't have Act 2. How do you make a movie without a second act? Of a 2-hour movie, maybe 8 minutes is Act 2. So,
Act 2 was really quick.
So, full spoilers. Act 1 is you assemble the Justice League, you fight the villain, you lose. Oh no, you don't know what you're going to do. Act 2, you resurrect Superman. And then you know what he does? He f***s off. And then they go, and then
Literally.
Yeah, and they start Act 3, and they go, oh well, he's gone. Time for the battle for the rest of the movie.
That was the first thing I said to you afterwards.
The first thing you said was, that sucked.
And then afterwards, I'm like, was it just me or was there no Act 2?
There was no Act 2.
And to which you responded, wow, you're understanding movies better.
maybe 8 minutes. And that 8 minutes was mostly a fight scene. This movie is a movie by committee. This is a checklist. They're like, we gotta do this. This movie is an assortment of scenes mashed together. They never broke the story.
How do you think Superman would have reacted if Lois had moved on and was with somebody else?
No. Let's talk about that. You're right. So Superman comes back.
Because this is where the biggest plot holes exist in the movie.
Actually, what I actually hate about this is probably one of the scenes that has the least amount of plot holes. But it makes Superman the worst. Because there was a thing I didn't notice until today. I was thinking about
Your little cheeky movement right there.
So they resurrect Superman with the most asinine science you can imagine. And he comes back to life, and they're concerned that he's going to be evil. And he comes back, fake upper lip and all, with a really dumb voice. Like, Henry Cavill has a, say, more than passable American accent. If I didn't know he was British, I don't think I would pick up on the English accent. He does a very good job with it, I think.
By the way, funny correlation, okay? So, Henry Cavill is resurrected as Superman. He was in The Count of Monte Cristo with Jim Caviezel, who was Jesus Christ, who was also resurrected.
That resurrection makes a hell of a lot more sense.
6 degrees of separation, resurrection style.
But he comes back, Doomsday stabs him through the chest.
There's no gaping chest
fully
wound.
through. Yeah, there is no hole in his chest. He has no shirt just because, abs. Which, fair. But he has a really stupid, like, I'm a mean Superman voice. He goes to Batman, like, crushes his skull. It's like, do you bleed? This is a silly voice. I'm not believing any of this. Between your fake mustache and your silly, silly voice, just regular Superman voice is fine. That would have actually been better, because apparently your American accent can only go so far. But what the payoff here is...
I did like the line, though, that he had to Batman, you won't let me live and you won't let me die.
That was a good line. But Superman, through really a dumb reason, fights the entire Justice League, beats the hell out of Batman in less than a second. I'm like, oh, Batman v Superman round 2. The realistic version. He wins. Like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was no kryptonite smoke.
That he walked into twice for no good reason.
He was dumb.
The guy who's faster than a speeding bullet.
Is that what Lois says?
Moving on. Batman talks about that he's going to bring the big guns in just in case. And that is a payoff to Batman v Superman. Did you pick up on that? Where he has that weird dream sequence and the Flash comes in. He's like, Lois is the key or something or other.
Oh, yes. Good for them.
Can you believe that? That they actually paid that scene off? That dumb vision or dream or flash forward or whatever the hell it was? They actually paid it off with Batman getting Lois in there. So the implication there is that if Batman doesn't bring Lois when he's immediately resurrected, that Superman becomes a murderous tyrant because he didn't immediately see his girlfriend. What a dick.
Loves her.
Murderous tyrant who teams up with Darkseid.
In comics?
In the movie, because there were all the parademons flying around.
Yes.
So he's the worst, right?
But they never explored that or paid that off.
They did pay it off because he shows up with Lois. So because Batman didn't show up with Lois, murderous tyrant.
Well, that sucks, doesn't
it? Yeah, he's kind of the worst. Also, that scene, Lois is up, she's like, Clark Kent, it's me, Lois Lane, your girlfriend or fiancé. There certainly aren't police who brought me here that are listening to all of this. Bad secret identity.
Really bad secret identity.
Not the only time it happens in the movie. Batman goes to visit Aquaman in Alaska. He's like, hi, Aquaman, it's me, Bruce Wayne, Batman. Also, everyone here can speak English. So, cool. Bad at this.
Also, Clark Kent died. They buried Clark. They had an obituary for Clark in the paper. He's going to stroll up to the Daily Planet and be like, hey guys, I'm back.
Yeah, he was in his casket. He wasn't in the Superman casket. He was in the Clark Kent casket. They buried him, and they show at the end of the movie that he just goes back to work.
Would he have to pay back his life insurance money?
I don't know if he had a life insurance policy.
Of course he did. It's probably part of the benefits package.
If anyone is not going to have a life insurance policy, it's going to be Superman. But what's going to get me?
But no, he's going to do it as Clark Kent, so it's part of his... Hey, Clark, do you want this life insurance? No! Wow, you live real fast and loose, don't you, Clark? When Clark is, known to be kind of like a nerdy, loser guy.
Aquaman.
My man.
Oh, my God. That was in The Punisher, too, the last episode I watched. She said my man twice. I'm like, shut up. Let's all stop saying my man.
My man.
Hate that.
Who says that, anyway?
Turtles killed it.
Have you ever, somebody done something, one of your friends, which is 3 of us, so I probably would have been there when it would have happened.
Somebody
says, good job. Oh, my man.
Never.
Have you ever seen somebody say that outside of a movie or TV show?
So.
Who's it? Tweet at me, at Junior Rich. Have you ever said the phrase, my man, to a friend who's, or girls, hey, my lady, my girl.
My old lady?
No, my lady. My man. Hey.
So Batman goes to see Aquaman relatively early in the movie. Aquaman says, no, I'm not going to join up with you. For literally no reason other than to give the Aquaman origin so he could just show up 10 minutes later and be like, change my mind. I'm Broy Aquaman.
Yeah.
You guys see my trident that has 5 parts, so it's not really a trident?
It's a quadrant.
That's only 4.
Oh.
Septum?
A septant.
Is that 5? I think so.
No.
I don't know.
Hex is 5? Or is hex 6? Hexagon is 6.
Septant. I don't know. Septum. He has a septum.
Whatever helps him breathe underwater, man.
It's a bunch of crap. But yeah, so he just leaves. He's like, nah, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to be part of your Justice League, so he can go get his origin really quick just to go join the Justice League. The dialogue. Let's hire Joss Whedon. Let's punch it up. Make it quirky. Make it quippy. Make it fun.
Like putting the lasso of truth around Aquaman in the jet?
And they've done that in other things, though. I was at the one and only movie premiere I've been to. There was a Wonder Woman animated in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the premiere of that, and they have Steve Trevor sit on the lasso, and he does basically the same bit. This has been done in movies before. That wasn't new. It's not a new gag. When I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like the animated movie. It had was Kerry Russell and Nathan Fillion. But this dialogue is unforgivably bad. Superman comes back from the dead. Lois Lane comes up to him. She's like, oh my god, Clark, it's you. Clark Kent. It's me, Lois Lane, your girlfriend. Hi, the cops.
Yes.
And then he flies her away. And she just goes, if this is what brings him back from the brink. She goes, you smell good. I didn't before. You know what? You don't smell good. Because this movie is happening in real time. You've been dead for over a year. You were stabbed through the chest. And your resurrection involves putting you in a pile of goo. You smell the worst you have ever smelled in your entire existence.
Well, flying to Kansas didn't make it better.
Yeah, I think it's all Metropolis is. I guess it depends on the interpretation. We don't know how far away this Metropolis is from Kansas.
Maybe it's Metropolis, Kansas.
It used to in some iterations. It's, let's say, New York area.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fun of the DC universe versus the Marvel one, is like the DC universe is slightly bigger just to incorporate these fictional cities.
Well, we do know that Central City is a long ways away because Bruce flies a jet out there.
Oh my god.
With his car
But how is that dialogue? Like,
and
this is what brings it back.
Then how did it feel coming back? Itchy.
That's not dialogue! Or I guess it is, but it's terrible dialogue.
It's not good dialogue.
You had a hole through your chest that was like a foot wide in diameter.
You didn't have the power of our yellow sun to heal you because you were underground.
You had a blob of goo. That goo healed up your chest, we know, because you were shirtless for 10 minutes. Not that I'm complaining. Look, he has a lot of abs.
He has 12.
But what was coming back from the dead like? Itchy. How? How is this dialogue?
Explain for me how Superman's mom, who was just in Metropolis talking to Lois about having the farm foreclosed, has a vehicle and gets out to Smallville.
Lois, they said that. Lois called her. He smiled. He goes, you called mom. She's like, yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm going to, no. I disagree with you on this because he has super senses. So I'm going to say he had super hearing and could hear Martha was coming.
Yes.
I will 100% contribute that scene legitimately.
But I think she was just in Metropolis and now she's back in Smallville? Where's she staying?
Well, I mean, they said that they had been there for a little bit. I think because we see that. No, 100% I buy that. I think you're wrong on that one. I will at least give this movie credit where it deserves it and will, tear it a new one where it deserves it as well.
Is it as big as Superman's chest hole was?
It's a little bit bigger. And then towards the end of the finale is a bunch of crap. A bunch of CG crap floating about. But we get what I have now called the Jaws moment, where Batman is in the Batmobile, he's shooting off parademons because, this is a gun-crazy Batman. And he doesn't go, smile, you son of a... But he does go like, you son of a bitch. And it's supposed to be like this big hero moment where everyone's supposed to go like, woo! Dead silence.
It was very quiet in the theater.
Dead silence in the theater. No one reacted, even a little.
No one ever really reacted when Superman came floating in and said something like, I believe in justice.
No, he goes, I believe in truth and justice. And then he punched Steppenwolf.
He did just bitch slapped him. hard.
Yeah, this movie also recreated its own problem. Like, part of killing Superman is you need to up the rest of the league to try and make them, like, credible parts of it. But then they brought back Superman and overpowered him significantly to show that the rest of them are useless. So they've immediately recreated their own problem.
Yeah, because Superman he handled Steppenwolf fast.
Like, no one else needed to be there.
He made Steppenwolf look like the guy who was knocking over the 7-Eleven or the Quickie Mart. Dispatched him fast.
Who needs the Quickie Mart?
I do.
I do. Unrelated. Let's get into
much better
things that I actually enjoyed.
There's 4.
You can also contribute to this segment.
Okay.
Superman comes back, and he has a headbutt off with Wonder Woman.
That was fun.
Which was hilarious.
Because she actually stuns him for a second.
He headbutts her. She headbutts him a little bit harder. And then he gives her, like, the largest headbutt that he possibly can, like, buries her, like, 4 feet into the ground. I enjoyed the headbutt off.
That was nice. You know what I liked? We haven't mentioned it yet. I actually liked J.K. Simmons as Jim Gordon.
How? He was in there for less than 90 seconds.
So he wasn't unlikable. He didn't have enough time to be bad.
But we saw all those photos where he got ripped to hell for this movie. Massive. Like,
and they didn't use him.
Like, one of the most muscular dudes in this movie was J.K. Simmons, and he wore a trench coat the whole time.
Yeah.
You couldn't see any of it.
But I didn't hate him.
No, he's fine.
He wasn't bad. No Perry White, though.
No. We quickly see Green Lanterns in a flashback, and that made me excited when I saw it. Like, that was, like, early in the movie, like,
during the Lord of the Rings battle sequence where they're, like, the storytelling. Not the Lord of the Rings, because the Green Lanterns have rings.
Most of the rings.
The Green Lanterns look cool.
Yeah, they were in there briefly. It's by far the best Green Lantern movie we've ever seen.
He did make that comment after the theater. Oh, that was a great Green Lantern movie comparatively.
But even that scene, Wonder Woman goes into the Batcave. She's talking to Batman in the Batcave, and then we cut to them unknown distance away from the Batcave outside, continuing the same story. I'm like, did she just stop for 15 minutes when they got into different outfits and went outside by this friggin' lake?
Mm-hmm.
That goes back to the editing. The editing of this movie is garbage.
Again, maybe was that a reshoot?
They start a conversation in one location, finish it in another, with no indication of when they left. Did they just stop talking?
Yeah.
Just had a silent walk until she decided, you know what, it's time to restart the story.
How about the faux sexual tension that Alfred tries to create between Batman and Wonder Woman?
Yeah, that never happens. That's
Thank
another
God.
thing. I didn't even write this down. So I think this was just Ben Affleck pouring a drink for himself.
That wasn't set liquor. That was real liquor.
Yeah. So let's compare this. I want to go back to 2008. There's a scene in The Dark Knight where the Joker, he goes into Bruce Wayne's fundraiser for Harvey Dent, and he grabs a glass of champagne from someone. You see when he grabs it, he also simultaneously throws out the alcohol and then kind of pretends to sip it.
Yeah.
This tells you a lot about the character. He's kind of like Bruce Wayne. He doesn't drink alcohol. He knows he's going to be getting into a fight. He doesn't want to dull his senses. So he's kind of like mimicking this kind of like chaotic, like, I'm having a fun time. He's really there to fight, and he is not going to mess around with that. Comparatively, Bruce Wayne goes to fight a few hundred parademons and a god, and he pours the largest whiskey you've ever seen. And he's like, all right, let's do this. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, comparatively, like, that scene with the Joker in The Dark Knight tells you so much in just 2 seconds. Throwing the champagne and then pretending to drink it. Like, he's a showman, but he's not messing around. Comparatively, Batman pours himself a full glass of whiskey. Also Wonder Woman, but, you know, she's also a god, so
she can hold her liquor.
Her tolerance is probably high. And he pours himself a full glass of whiskey. What's he doing?
He also got his ass handed to him by Superman.
He also should be by everyone.
Broken. Well, his superpower is that he's rich.
And then this movie tries to be funny. I liked one gag. Flash is supposed to be saving some people. Superman flies up next to him. He goes, you get the people on the left, I'll get the people on the right. Flash saves 4 people in a truck, and Superman picks up a building, like an apartment building, and flies the building away, which was legitimately funny.
That was really funny, because he's just like, hey, that's not fair.
But I love that. There's also, I didn't write these down, but, you know, no one needs to know that. Didn't need to say it, but I will. There is one strong Batman moment, and there is one strong Superman moment in my eyes.
Yep.
Flash is freaking out in the end of Act 1, you know, 5 minutes before Act 3. He goes, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not a fighter.
I've never been in battle before.
Yeah. And Batman goes, save one person. That's it. Just save one. He goes, what do I do after that? He goes, you'll know. That is Batman. 100% that is a Batman moment. I loved it. There weren't many others, but that was Batman.
What about when he was detectiving at the beginning of the movie? You like that? The first Batman sequence?
Yeah, that
with
first,
the guy on the roof?
Yeah, that first action scene is fine until you think about the Batman got a criminal and then he just let him go after they had a quirky interaction together.
Yeah, and the guy like tried to kill him.
Yeah. He sees Batman, drops like a bag of money, and then tries to shoot him. I just thought he was like, he's just gonna drop the bag and walk away. Like, you know what? Not worth it.
Oh, it's Batman. You know what? This is not the right place.
It's good action, but then like he talks to Batman, he's like, "What was up with that, buddy?"
I look like an alien.
Oh, there's one good Superman moment. He comes back in because he comes back from the fight after you think he's not going to, even though you 100% know he's going to show up. And he shows up next to everyone. He just goes, in the most Superman way possible, "How can I help?" That is Superman. Superman is not the guy to bust it and be like, he's not the tactical guy. He's not going, "We're doing this, and this." He just shows up and goes, "How can I help?"
Yeah. What would you like? Him, the big guy. Punch him.
Many times if you could, actually.
All over it.
You're much stronger than him. He had 5,000 years to get here, but now that you're here, in this one very specific moment, we got this, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you.
But that was a good Superman moment. They didn't focus on it as much as the Batman one. It's a quick line, but when I heard it, I was like, oh, I know that guy. That's Superman.
What about this quirky line? When they're getting ready to separate the mother boxes? Are you sure we can handle this? Because I don't want to be... I like being alive. And then they get blown up, and he's laying on his back. He goes, "I changed my mind. I wish I were dead."
There's a couple of... Yeah, there are a few, but as a whole, it's not a good movie. Whether you should or not, compare it to the Avengers. The Avengers, the Phase 1 movies, with maybe the exception of Iron Man, not their best round of films. The Avengers is a celebration. That is a fireworks party. That's saying, we did this. Look at us. This is fun. This movie, and even the Avengers to a point, still has some of those. You can feel a few of those like check boxes by committee. Like, You got to have the heroes fight, and then you got to wrap everything up neatly in a bow. Don't worry about it. There's a few of those in there.
Like the heroes have to have their discord. These heroes didn't even really they got angry for about 30 seconds at each other. They had I've seen Twitter arguments go on longer and more vitriol than this did.
But this movie it's not a movie. They never broke the story at all. This is an assortment of scenes that have literally no flow. And
they never hit a low point. They never had that moment where they're like...
There have been a lot of low points.
But they never, as a collective, they didn't have that low point moment that, okay, this is the turning point of the movie.
And I've seen some people online, because they're like, am I the only one that hates this? There are some people who enjoy it. If you enjoy it, fine. It's not good.
Like I said earlier, they needed to make up their mind what they wanted to be, and they're indecisive. And being indecisive will not get you anything but lost.
I think Zack Snyder is done with this, and that's for the best.
Do you think Joss Whedon stays on and tries to revive it? Do you bring in somebody else? That's the letters to the end.
I mean, he's supposed to... There hasn't been a lot of news recently, but I mean, he was down to do that Batgirl movie. Scrap this universe.
All right. Now, letters to the editors.
Lot of questions, number one. Damn few answers.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
Make it so.
What do you want to see in a Justice League sequel?
Not see one?
That's my answer, no. Because we got to the end of the movie, and I remember I laughed at it, because we had to... Oh, we didn't even talk about the post-credit scenes that got so...
Oh, yeah. Lex Luthor, he's still there.
He's the worst.
I was like, wait a minute. I thought that was a rumor that Jesse Eisenberg was done. You're like, yeah, I missed that rumor.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
But, you get to the end of... James Bond does it, too. You get to the end of a James Bond movie, you get to the end of the Marvel movie, they'll say, James Bond will return. Thor will return. The Avengers will return. This one just said Justice League. I'm like, yep.
And
speaks volumes, doesn't it?
In regular font.
Regular old Justice League.
You need to get Justice League logo. You got Justice League. You just got font. Like midterm paper font.
Papyrus.
Sans serif.
Did you see that SNL sketch?
No.
Let's go look that up. Gosling did it. Oh. It's great. But yeah, it just said Justice League. I'm like, no will return? That being said, if there is a Justice League sequel, I'm not sure if there will be. And just, you can say it like you would like in general. I will give an arc that I would like to see.
Okay.
Do Grant Morrison's first arc from like 98. That arc has some positives and minuses. Mostly like it kind of introduced the idea of the, in quotes, the Bat God, where Batman is the smartest and best no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing was there was this, I forget the name of the team, but there's this other team that shows up. They're like, oh, hey, we're also a team of superheroes, and we're here to help. Turns out they're a bunch of, evil bastards. I won't spoil the twists of it all, but Batman, like, gives them a corpse of one of them and just, like, hanging from a noose that says, like, I know your secret. And they discredit Batman. They take him out of the equation. They're like, we don't need to worry about him. And they capture Superman and they mess Superman up. He's like, you don't understand. He's alive. He's still fine. You've angered the world's most dangerous human. And Batman just comes in and proves why he's part of the Justice League and just messes everything up. And it's amazing. It's an amazing arc. It's without being in, because I like some other Justice League stories, but they're a little overly complicated. That would involve a little too much continuity. But if you did Grant Morrison's first arc, that would do so well as a Justice League movie. An evil Justice League that Batman messes up.
Okay.
Proves his point of being on the team, because what we've seen so far in Batman v Superman, and even in Justice League, is Batman is the guy at the side going, run away!
I don't have any powers.
Yeah, we see everyone like kicking the shit out of parademons, but Batman's like, I'm having trouble with one!
Yes. You know what? They made him look inept sometimes in the movie. They made him look so weak compared to everybody else.
Real gun happy.
This is what I'd like to see. I would like to see a Batman, Superman, Justice League movie with a legitimate villain. Give me somebody...
Boy, what a high standard. You know what? Marvel, listen up. You too. Get a good villain.
They have a great villain.
We haven't really seen him do anything yet.
We will soon.
Hope so.
He looks like he's going to mess everyone's afternoon up. And maybe the evening, too.
We don't even know yet.
You got to imagine, yes, he will. Because that ship of Asgardians, they'd be screwed.
Oh,
they dead.
We have 2,000 people left. Okay, we have 2.
Yes. So,
maybe 3 with featured Selma lives.
Oh, yeah, well, Heimdall will live. Unless he's got the soul gem inside his body, then he's screwed.
I think it's in his eyes. I think he's going to have his head ripped off.
Oh, that sucks to be him.
That's also, side note, 100% a theory. I have nothing to back that up with.
He's forgotten the face of his father.
Oh, why'd you have to bring that up?
Oh, you're already in a bad place. But give me a villain, and you know what? If you want it to be Lex Luthor again, sure.
Don't. They had an out. They call him Lex Luthor Jr. multiple times. They had an out.
Anyway.
Why didn't they take it?
I don't know. But give me like a legitimate villain. Maybe bring in some of the Rogue Gallery. All right? Maybe can we get a little cross-pollination between like the Suicide Squad movie and the Justice League? Get me a little bit of that. Get me somebody like, give me a good Joker. Give me the Penguin. Give me somebody that the Justice League has to combine up on. Maybe a really diabolical Riddler. Something like where Batman needs the Justice, and it's a widespread.
Well, they mentioned Darkseid was originally supposed to be the villain for this movie, and they do mention Darkseid once, and I forgot to bring this up. Boy, they were real comfortable saying most comic book terms. There was one they didn't want to say, which I thought was really hilarious. They were like, Steppenwolf's homeworld. They want to make it like his homeworld. It's Apocalypse. His homeworld is Apocalypse with a K. Say Apocalypse. You weren't bold enough, movie. You thought it was too silly.
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
With a K.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what I want? I want a big multi-villain, multi-superhero clash. All right, that's what I want. Give the Justice League like something to do on Earth that is Earth-based. Give me something that they need to do.
We established boom tubes in this movie. Take a boom tube to Apocalypse with a K.
I think stay on Earth. Give me Earth. Give me some Earth stuff. Give me some Earthbound problems.
We've already done that. What have we been? We've been to Metropolis. We've been to Gotham.
We've been to the jail in Central City.
We've been to a nuclear reactor core.
But, give me something where maybe all of our heroes are dealing with, like, their villain, but their villains are all part of a larger villain syndicate, and they all have to get together to take down this prime villain.
You're talking about that post-credit scene where Luthor's like, we should do the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, but do it better than you're probably planning on doing it, DC.
Oh, God, this sucks. This universe sucks.
How do you really feel?
I liked Wonder Woman. Man of Steel was fine. Shooting 40% here. Not a good ratio.
It is if you're like a Major League Baseball player.
Like we were driving into the movie, I'm like, I want it to be good, but this feels like a chore.
Yes, those were your exact words. You're like, I want to have a good time going to the movie, but I feel like I'm doing work. All right. Well, it's Thanksgiving week. Let's be happy for a moment. Let's give thanks that we don't have to go back to watch
Let's be thankful for Thor.
Yes.
What a good movie.
All right.
Had a fun time.
Nice.
Go watch Thor.
So, Thanksgiving coming up. That means Black Friday and then Small Business Saturday. What's going on at the store?
I'm gonna do just because sometimes my sales get a little too complicated. 40% off, except new releases.
Wow.
40%.
Did you just come up with that on the spot?
No, I've known that from since we talked about it last week. I came up with that.
So 40% off everything in the store except for new releases for Black Friday and Small Business Saturday.
Yeah, I'm gonna double down.
All right, there you go.
Good sale.
That's a great sale.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Where's the store? 210 Water Street in Hollowell?
Sorry, I'm still angry.
Let's move on.
Yeah, if you want to find us, editorsnotecomics.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you would like to get this show a day early every single week, patreon.com/editorsnotecomics. By the way, our show, as of this point in the month, we are the winners.
Yay!
Which is strange, because last month we were significantly the losers.
Suck it, Buffy back issue bin.
We'll see what happens.
Although the co-host on that show is Delight.
Also, you know what? It's a movie. It doesn't matter.
You certainly have me totally not convinced that that's true at all.
Against everything, it also ultimately does not matter. You know what I can go read? Some DC books. I got a bunch I love. Doesn't matter.
See, you're you know what you are? You're in the, are you like, was it denial or bargaining? What phase of grief are you in right now? Acceptance. You're in acceptance.
I just want the movies to be good because this is where the entry point is to a lot of audiences. I want the entry point to be good so they will expand and be interested. And this is a bad example. And there's a lot of mediocre books out there, but there's a lot of great books out there. But when you have a limited selection of what you can see for adaptation or interpretation, you can't mess around with that. You don't have the option of, well, this arc was bad. Well, course correct for the next one. That doesn't cost as much.
They done screwed up, didn't they?
Yeah, this is my least favorite DC movie, even though it's not the worst. It's the movie that should have been good and wasn't.
Can we move on? Can we have Happy Times again?
We will next week.
What's next week?
Christmas, man. We start Christmas.
Oh, that's right. Christmas starting in November.
We got 4 weeks of Christmas and 1 of Star Wars.
Yay!
But yeah, we got 4 Christmas episodes coming up. Star Wars, we'll kind of break it up one. But yeah, we're starting Christmas next week. And every single week, with the exception of the last one, the holiday special.
Ooh.
But we got 3 solid weeks of good Christmas stories.
Really?
We got good stuff coming up this month.
See, there's positive, happy things.
And we already have an intro that happened last year that I can just recycle.
Excellent.
Holiday themed.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, we got good stuff coming.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy the day. Remember that Indigenous people died. That's what everyone.
You're a real downer. You know that? You suck.
Don't you? Aren't those Facebook posts annoying when people are like, but you know? Like, yeah, I do know.
Yeah, I do know that I'm going to enjoy the hell out of some turkey and some pie.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying the day with loved ones and family, so shut the hell up.
Yes. Give thanks.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We'll see you for a month of Christmas.
Eat lots of pie.